with some ideas of activities that you could do at home with your toddlers. It's a little bit stressful for everyone right now. We're all kind of looking for things to do, to keep our children busy, to keep ourselves busy. So I went through my house and I found some objects and things and materials that many of you may have at home, just to give you some ideas of things that you could do at home that are similar to what we do at the Montessori school. So the first thing I would recommend, if you have one, is get a placemat out. This happens to be a work mat from school, but if you have a placemat, even a towel will do, a small hand towel you could lay out. So you can put that out. And this is something that your toddlers are used to doing. It defines their workspace and it will be familiar to them. So for our younger toddlers, well, any toddler really, you can do a lot of different activities. There are a ton of things you can do at home. One thing that I did is I collected some socks from my younger daughter, mix them all up, and give the sock basket or a bowl if you have one. Just put them all in, give them to your child, let them sort them out and find the matching pairs. Great activity for them. That's one activity that they could do. The next activity that I came up with was take silverware, knives, spoons, and forks. I put them on this tray. If you have a tray at home like this, a serving tray, that's maybe not very fragile, not breakable, you can certainly use that. I mixed up knives, spoons, and forks, put them all on a tray, have your toddler do some sorting, put all the forks together, the knives together, spoons together, etc. And really any objects that you have at home, if you have other objects, for instance, if you have different erasers at home, maybe if you happen to pick some up at the dollar store, you could have them do sorting. So any kind of sorting where they're matching up similar objects is great for toddlers. The other activity I thought of is if you have a pet at home, let them get involved with feeding your pet. This is my cat's food bowl. I put a little cat food in a bowl, little spoon, let them scoop the food into the bowl for your pet if you have one. If you don't have a pet, you can just scoop from bowl to bowl. It can be cereal, any item you want. It's just great fine motor practice and good practice with scooping, so that's another idea. Most of us have strainers at home for pasta. This is another activity that your toddlers enjoy. If you happen to have pipe cleaners, great. You can take them and put them through the holes of the strainer. Just try to push them through. Your children do this a lot in class. They really enjoy it. If you don't have pipe cleaners at home, not all of us do, if you have any toothpicks that aren't super sharp, you can also use these. You can have them push them through the hole. Anything small like this size that would fit would work. So that's another activity for your children. The other thing that you could use for this, if you happen to have one of these Parmesan cheese shakers, you could also use this as well to put pipe cleaners or toothpicks into. So that's another idea as well. This I borrowed from school. I did not have this at home, but most of us should have a pasta strainer, I believe, at home. So that's another idea. Something else, if you have some old costume jewelry that you're not using anymore, just put it in a basket or a bowl, give it to your toddler, let them play with it, put on the bracelets. They love looking at watches and the numbers. So that's another idea. They can practice putting on the rings on their fingers. So that's just something most of us probably do anyway, but that's another activity that they can do at home. Another activity, if you're feeling a little brave, but it's a lot of fun, you don't need a work mat for this, but would be a washing work. If you want to take your toddler outside, let them pick out a pretty rock from your landscaping or from your neighborhood somewhere. Don't take it from the neighbor's yard, but somewhere else where you can get a rock. If you don't want to go outside and do this, you can even use a toy that can get wet. Anything. They love washing things. Fill up a little bin with some soapy water, give them a sponge, let them go to town cleaning the object. They love doing this. When they're done, they can take it out, dry it on the towel. That's a lot of fun for them too. So really any object that can get wet. I just suggested going outside because it just extends the activity a little bit to get some outside time. Another activity involving water. If you happen to have a small spray bottle, this is a little big for toddler hands, but if you have a spray bottle at home, put some water into it. Don't give them Windex. That probably wouldn't be a good idea, but if you can fill a small spray bottle with water, let them clean the windows. They love washing windows at school. I'm sure they would be happy to wash your windows at home, the ones that are lower to the ground, obviously, that they can reach from the floor. Let them spray, wipe it up, and they're happy. So that's another activity, pretty simple if you have a spray bottle like that. Another activity that the children are used to, if you have an ice cube tray, this happens to be one that I brought home from school, but any objects that you have at home, these are obviously paper clips. Most of us have paper clips or any little objects that you have at home. Give them a bowl if you have any kind of small tweezers or tongs. Let them use the tongs or tweezers to pick up the objects and put them into the holes in the ice trays. So that's another activity that they're very, very familiar with. They enjoy doing it. This could also double as a counting activity. You can help them count as they're doing it, how many of each object there are. So that's a way to extend it into a counting activity. And that is that. Another activity, if you are feeling brave, these are a little bit big for toddlers, but if you have something a little smaller or not, it's okay. This is a pouring activity. I did put some barley in here that I happen to have in my cupboard, and just let them pour. They can just pour back and forth and pour it back in. You can also do this with water as well if you're feeling adventurous, and just put a little bit of water in, give them a little sponge to wipe up any spills. That's something we do a lot at school as well, so they should be familiar. Another activity you could do, you may have seen it, I believe that Miss Jody had posted it on our Facebook page or had sent an email about it, but you can do a color hunt. So you can give your child a piece of paper that's a certain color, or just show them an object, a green object, and say, can you go find objects that are this color? So you can find, you know, any color really of the rainbow. Go on a little color scavenger hunt around your house. For our older toddlers, you can also look in magazines, cut out pictures. This happens to be obviously red, so I looked in a magazine and cut out any objects that are red, cut them out, glued them onto the paper. They may need some help with cutting and gluing, and that's okay. That's part of the fun for them. Our much older toddlers, you can also do letter sounds. This is obviously the letter B or ba, and they can look for objects in magazines, newspaper flyers, store flyers are great. Cut out pictures that begin with that same sound. So that's another idea for our older toddlers. And some of the toddlers have started working on writing their name. If you happen to have a yellow highlighter or a marker at home, write your child's name on some paper and give them another marker or a pencil and let them trace the yellow letters that you did of their name, and have them do that. If they're 2 years old, they can do it 2 times, 3 years old, 3 times, etc. So I hope this helps. These are just some activities. You can also go on Pinterest. There's always activities on there. If you do a search for Montessori toddler activities, there's a ton of activities on there as well. These were just some ideas that I came up with based on what I had in my own house that I thought some of you may have in your houses as well. But if you have any questions, please reach out to the school and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks so much. I hope to see you all soon.